I am finally back with a braces related video, and if you notice, no braces. I got my braces off like mid-October, and now it's like almost mid-January, so this video is a couple months overdue, but at least I'm finally making it. Ooh, I have to remember to kind of look down because of the reflection of my glasses. Oops. But like, let me tell you guys how like the actual braces removal went, like, how the day went, that kind of stuff. So anyways, I will say that I do indeed have permanent retainers. I was hoping that I wouldn't because like my orthodontist seemed against it, but then like I like how she showed me, or like she told me, she explained to me like both the benefits and the opposite of benefits, like the pros and cons of getting a permanent retainer versus not. And she only put it behind my two front teeth, these two. So it's not like my whole like front row or my whole bottom row or whatever, just those two and that's all. Because like, before I had braces, I had a gap over there, and that was like the biggest gap. So she's like, if you want, we could like, not give you a permanent retainer, but we also like risk the gap coming back. So like I kind of thought about it for a minute. I was like, yeah, you know what, I'll take the permanent retainers. And yeah, I remember when I first got it, because like when I got my braces off my teeth, I mean, not my teeth, my gums were swollen. Like when I first got a permanent retainer, it just felt like so obvious in my mouth because I wasn't used to having like metal behind my teeth. Also, like, yeah, when I did get my braces off, I had swollen gums. So even when I got my retainer done, for the retainer, I was surprised that they didn't use like technology, like the scanning and then making the impression, that kind of stuff. Instead, they used like the good old like the mold, and then the one they got pressed in your mouth that you have to like be careful not to gag on. Yeah, that's one that they use. But let me show you guys my retainer. Like here I am talking about it, but all our retainers. Over here, I have the retainer case, and the cost of the retainers was included as part of like the braces fee, like overall. This is my top row. Is it? No, it's not. This one's my top row of teeth retainers. Trying to see how I can like hold it up so you guys can kind of see it. But anyways, like in the like impression thing, you can see my swollen gums in it for both top and bottom row, but more of the swelling is obvious in the bottom row. That's where I'm struggling trying to show you guys. But yes, there. And I was also given like retainer care instructions, like a sheet of paper for like what to do and not to do, that kind of stuff. I think that now that I no longer have braces, I guess except for the permanent retainer behind my two teeth, at least I can finally floss properly. So like once I got my braces off, I was flossing like almost every day. But like lately I've been kind of slacking on it. Once again, gotta turn it into a habit. But anyways, I remember that when I was getting my, like after I got the braces removed and then she was polishing my teeth, so, because, there's still, like, the glue on and whatnot. I thought that it would just be, like, a simple polish. Like, it was literally just removing the glue, but it's more than just removing the glue. She also basically, indeed, like, really polished my teeth. To the point where, like, my teeth felt as smooth as my gums. So, like, once I got the braces off and, like, got out of the office and everything, I kept doing this, like, in my mouth. I kept, like, licking my teeth. I'm like, ooh, I'm not used to feeling metal anymore. Also, because, like, it just felt, like, really smooth overall. Also, because just feeling the swollen gums. Just, like, so many new sensations at once. But the funny thing is that when she prescribed me, is that the right word? Like when she prescribed me the retainers to wear, I know that most people tend to have to wear it like 24 hours for like the first, I don't know, like a year or something, right? And so she only told me to wear them overnight, and that made me happy because I remember that like when I first put it on, because it's a new thing in my mouth, pause, I'll kind of have a speech impediment, or at least like more than usual. I'm like, ugh. And I also remember that like my first few days of retainer wearing was ew, because I so wasn't used to it. To a point where like it felt almost painful like in the back. I remember like the back bottom row like, around this area. That's where I felt like a little bit of a short pain. So in my head I was thinking like, okay, if this pain doesn't subside or if I don't get used to it, like whatever, in about a week, I'm gonna have to bring it up to her, because maybe it's whoever like made the retainer, like whoever made it, maybe it's their fault. But I don't know. Also, I got the retainers the same day that I got my braces off. It only took like a few hours. But I do remember that I actually had to redo the top row of teeth because she forgot to take off the bite block. Yes, no more bite block. She forgot to take off the bite block before doing the impressions, the mold for the retainer. So then she was like, oh, gotta do it again. And I didn't like doing the impressions for both top and bottom row of teeth because you have to like stay still for a couple minutes, and you have to be careful for your breathing so you don't gag. And especially the top row, that's the one that feels like like dangerous or more like closer to gagging, Yeah. I also remember that when she was using like the polishing tools and the drills on my teeth, I could smell the burning teeth low-key. That there was, I guess, like teeth dust, like literal dust from my teeth because, we're polishing it away. But she also gave me like, glasses to wear so that way I wouldn't get it like in my eyes or my glasses. So that definitely helped. The smell wasn't like horrible, but I could smell it, cause you know, like teeth over here, nose right here. So also for me at least, like the swelling, the gum swelling, especially from like my front bottom row of teeth, so like these, it never completely went down. Like I have photos like when I got the braces removed and how swollen it is and everything, and I guess like pictures as time went on and everything. But I noticed that I especially get swollen or like more swollen again after I take off my retainer. Even if it's just like maybe I order a retainer for about an hour, then I take off like eat a midnight snack and I put it, then you know I notice the swelling. But I also notice that like you know in the morning I take off the retainer, it's like back to like post braces removal swelling, and then even throughout the day, like right now, let me think. Yeah, right now it's still not like how it was before I got braces, like the swelling, it's still like slightly there. So when I went to the dentist just last week, yeah, that's last week already. She has told me to just, actually it was the hygienist who told me to just, like floss twice a day, to floss that area just twice a day because it seems like bacteria rather than plaque. I'm gonna try that. But I don't know, my personal prediction is that the swelling might not ever like really 100% go down. Because like you know my problem before braces was that I had too much spacing between my teeth, and you know like we push the teeth together, so like where did the gum tissue go? But I did search that up and I've heard that the gum tissue dies through apoptosis, you know, the scheduled cell death. But I don't know, man, I might have to get that kind of surgery where some gum removal is needed. I don't know yet, we'll see. But anyways, at my ortho places, we do get like follow-up retainer appointments. It's not as often as braces appointments, which was about every 4 to 6 weeks. Retainer appointments, it actually changes. Like first retainer appointment 1 month after, you know, like braces removal and everything. Then the next one is 3 months after. Then 6 months after. Then 1 year after. Then I don't remember if there's one that's like 2 years after. You know, they just are like they're also just like checking up, make sure everything's okay. You still have your retainers and all that. So like retainers are expensive to replace because like in the paper I was given with the care instructions and whatnot, and the ortho assistant explaining it to me, he told me that is $250 for like each row of teeth. So if you lose like you know just one row, that's $250. If you lose both, $500. I'm like, ooh. Yeah, so far I've been doing great at like keeping them for the most part. Just recently was when I locked in with like actually cleaning it, I guess like every day, because ever since I got it, what I've been doing is that I've made sure to clean it with like toothbrush and a little soap at least once a week, because I feel just every day. That feels a little tedious. Because like I still notice the swelling. I'm like, that could be like, you know, bacteria from the retainer, you know, getting back into my mouth. I'm like, this also could cause cavities if I don't like clean it properly every day. So just recently was when I actually switched to cleaning it with a brush and soap every day. Because before I do that, I'll just rinse it and put it back. So that's better than nothing, but still, like, you know. Also, because, like, I'll notice, like, deposits from my saliva, like, you know, mineral deposits accumulating on it. Like, right now it's not there because I cleaned it. But before I noticed, like, the white deposits accumulating, like, in the grooves. And I'm like, ooh, that's kind of gross. But yeah, I think that's all I want to talk about in relation to, like, getting my braces removed, getting retainers. How the removal went, how the retainer appointment went. Oh, I didn't talk about how the retainer appointment went. So far, because it's been how many months since braces removal? About 3 months ever since then. I've only had one retainer appointment so far, which was the 1 month follow-up checkup. That was only a couple minutes. Just me. Of course, I had to bring the retainer with me, and you know, just putting it on, making she looks to make sure that you know it fits well. It looks fine, like you know. It was a pretty chill appointment. That has had to be like the quickest braces related appointment that I've ever had. So yeah. Yeah, I think that's all for the video then. You know, finally getting this video out.